All right, everybody. This is the inaugural podcast of what hopes to be a weekly thing for Yes, We Paid to See It. I'm Jazz with,
Camille. Hi, I'm Camille.
and I guess we're two very opinionated people who are going to be giving our irrelevant opinions. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna say my opinion is irrelevant at
My
times.
opinion's totally relevant.
All right, there you go. There you go. Nothing like a relevant opinion bouncing off of irrelevant.
We got a little bit of both.
What'd you say?
We got a little bit of both, relevant and irrelevant.
Right. There you go.
Balance.
The movie that we saw, it came out. What day did it come out? What was that? The 8th?
Yes.
Yeah, Oz the Great and Powerful, starring James Franco, that everybody would know as Harry Osborn, and like not much else.
He was in 27 Hours, where he was trapped in that cave. That was a pretty big deal, and he was a very terrible Oscar co-host.
27. What the hell is 27 hours?
27 hours? That might not be the right amount of hours, but he was in a movie.
It might not be the right amount of hours.
He was like trapped in a cave, and like his arm got stuck, and he was.
Oh, yeah, about that guy whose arm got smashed in the boulder and he had to like cut his arm off to get out.
Yeah. And he was also a really bad Oscar host. You need to remember that.
You need to remember that. He was worse than Seth MacFarlane. No, Seth MacFarlane wasn't bad, first of all.
What?
I said he was a worse Oscar host than Seth MacFarlane.
Oh, absolutely. I enjoyed Seth MacFarlane.
I was about to say...
Anyway, we're here to talk about Oz the Great and Powerful.
Yeah, what are we talking about? Right. Okay, so Oz the Great and Powerful. So, my first thought of the film, I didn't realize... I don't think this is giving too much away. If it is, I guess you could let me know and we'll put up a spoiler.
I'll yell at you.
Okay. But I didn't realize that it was somewhat of an origin story, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's both The Wizard of Oz and Oz the Great and Powerful are based on the book by L. Frank Baum, who, wrote the inspiration for, The Wizard of Oz.
Right, for those who don't know, she reads. I don't. No.
Hence relevant and irrelevant.
But no, I'm saying I didn't realize that it was kind of an origin story to it was an origin story to The Wizard of Oz, wasn't it?
In a way, like on one hand, it was called I think they kind of avoided referring to it as an origin story, but since it's by the same author. What I actually enjoyed, because it's by that same author and that same set of books, it was interesting for me to kind of look at what was from the public domain books and what was notably missing, because it was something that the makers of The Wizard of Oz had come up with.
So you could tell what they were keeping true to the novel?
Not so much because I know the novel, but because I'm more familiar with the movie, and there was a really big thing as far as intellectual property and what they could and couldn't duplicate, because a different studio has the rights to
copyright laws.
So they couldn't do the ruby slippers, they couldn't do the flying monkeys. You'll see in this movie they had flying baboons.
But they referred to them as monkeys, though.
It is, but it's different enough that it's not considered a copyright issue, and that's kind of... I kind of enjoyed doing a Where's Waldo of what is and isn't, included, what was missing, and what that must have been a book thing because it's in the movie, like the Yellow Brick Road.
You were a party of one doing that when you saw it.
I absolutely was doing that when I watched it.
I'm saying you were a party of one, though.
I'll tell you why I was wasting time doing that in a minute.
Okay. Well, when you saw the movie, did you see it in 3D or did you see it in 2D?
I am morally opposed to 3D, so no.
I understand. But let me stop you.
I don't need to be distracted by all these bells and whistles. If I'm not going to enjoy a movie on a regular old screen, if I need 3D, I'm in need of something else. And also, poorly in need of better story if we need 3D to enjoy.
But think about it like this, though. Think about it like this. Okay, Avatar is one of the biggest movies of 2007, 8? When did it come out? 9?
Just the last movie I watched in 3D was Captain EO. Okay.
I don't even know what that is.
It's Michael Jackson from like 25 years ago,
Oh my
and it's like in
gosh.
Disneyland.
You didn't see Avatar?
Hell no! I don't watch 3D movies. Can we get to
Wow.
what we thought of Oz the Great and Powerful? Because
Okay.
I think people who are actually still listening to this nonsense want to know.
Okay. Oz the Great and Powerful. First of all, if you saw it in 3D, the 3D was amazing and spectacular if you were able to see it that way. But no, you're right. The story should be able to carry the movie itself. So, let's get to probably the main thing that most people are thinking of. How was James Franco's performance? What do you think?
I spent most of his screen time wishing somebody else was playing the role. I'll be really honest.
Really?
He bored me to tears.
Now, see, that's funny because throughout most of the movie, I was, any scene without James Franco, I was like, wow, when is James Franco coming back on screen? Because this movie is really losing steam right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I just kept picturing other actors thinking, wow, this movie could have done so much better with a different leader. And I really wanted to like him. And, you know, there were certain parts of the character I thought that he did bring to the table really well. Like,
Yeah.
I really believed him as kind of, you know, the shyster guy. I totally believed him as a shyster without a heart of gold.
That did
and
work.
I thought that came across really well. But he didn't make me like him in spite of that. What I did enjoy about the movie, I enjoyed in spite of James Franco. He did not charm me. He bored me. And, you know, as a girl watching a movie, trying to accept this certain story arc, I didn't believe it for a second. I didn't
Really?
believe him for a second.
Not even for 1 second, like literally 1 second.
Like I said, I believed him when he said certain things about being the kind of person he is. When he said, I don't want to be a good man, I was like, yeah, okay, I believe you. That part of his character I believe, but he did not have the charm and the charisma necessary to redeem his character enough for me to care.
Well, I'll put it like this. I think that in some scenes where he had something nice to grip off of, something nice to play off of, then he worked better.
Are you blaming the other actors?
No, I'm saying he worked better.
Because he was working with 2 Oscar nominees.
No, I'm saying he worked better when he had good people. Let me finish. I'm making a point, okay? No, I think that he worked better when he had nice people, like people to play off of. When he could play off of somebody who was really giving him a lot. But when he had a scene where he had to be the main focus and the main one to carry it, certain times that's when it wavered.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about. A better actor, a more charming, charismatic actor, doesn't make you wish he had somebody to play off of because he doesn't need it. And that's what I was really feeling a lot of. And, you know, it was really obvious to me that he spent a lot of his time acting in front of a green screen. It was really obvious.
Really?
I was like, you must be bored because I'm bored.
Well, okay, in certain scenes when he's interacting with computer graphics characters, I mean, it's in all movies, and I wish, like, this is one thing, like, I love CGI characters. I'm not one of the people that I hate CGI. I'm not like that. But
you're gonna love my next comment.
But I don't hate it. But I do kind of hate when, like, say, like, you have to shake a CGI character's hand or hug them or pick them up, because it's never going to look realistic with a real person. It's just not going to. Like, there's no way to make that look real. Because you have to, like, outline a character around it. So, like, say when he has to pick certain people up or, like, give them a hug or something, it's not going to look real. That's one thing I just don't like that about most movies, period. Like, if
one of my biggest complaints about this movie, and I probably would have complained less had I seen it in 3D, even though I hate 3D, one of the biggest problems I had with this movie was there was too much CGI. We're looking at, you know, a movie that was made, in the 30s?
Yeah.
Versus a movie made now, and quite frankly, I think the movie made now looks more fake than the movie made in the 30s when we had, like, no special effects. I think the movie relied too heavily on special effects, and, you know, I think that really took away from it in a way. And at the same time I say that, what's really funny is the 2 characters I enjoyed more than anything else
were the CGI characters.
Were the 2 CGI characters.
Were not, like, the best characters, like, in the whole film?
Yeah, there are 2 CGI characters. There's a living doll that he meets, and then there's a fly. I don't know how they they got away with the winged monkey. I don't know how they got away with it.
Exactly.
Like, for a fact,
They did kind of throw me.
The army of flying monkeys to baboons for copyright reasons, but there is a flying monkey CGI character in this film.
Who tags along with him, yeah.
They were the two best characters.
They were.
The only time I was ever emotionally invested in this movie was from one of the two CGI characters, which for me says a lot about, I hate to say this because I love everybody, with the exception of James Franco. I love everybody. I hate James Franco, and he doesn't, he's so boring. I wanted him to prove me wrong. I really did, because I do, Oz has a special place in my heart. A lot of us grew up with this movie. But the two characters that drew the most emotion for me were only voice actors, essentially. Zach Braff and the little girl that voiced that doll.
Joey King. Her name is Joey King. And she's actually a little girl, too. So she's got big things ahead of her. Because her voice acting was amazing. So
they were, both she and Zach Braff stole every scene they were in.
Well, okay, no, hold on, wait. Zach Braff didn't steal the scenes he was in as a person.
I think he might have.
I disagree. No.
He just made it more obvious that James Franco is boring. And I will say this, there are actors that I don't like that bother me, and then I watch one of their films, and I'm like, dang it, you made me like you again. I am not like unable to enjoy a performance just because an actor bothers me. I hate Tom Cruise, and I love everything he does.
Okay. So
just to put that out there, I'm not just being prejudiced against somebody regardless
I'll give
of
you that.
performance. I wanted him to do better, and it fell short for me.
Really? I thought, well, okay, I'll put it like this. I agree with you in the sense that any actor could have led this movie and probably done a better job than James Franco.
Not any actor. There were a couple in mind, and really, from what I know about the backstory of the making of this movie, Sam Raimi originally wanted this to be Robert Downey Jr., and
he would have done a better job.
I wish I hadn't known that.
He would have done a better job. Robert Downey Jr., he has like a fast talking way where it's like comedic yet comes off real somehow.
Yeah,
and that would have worked
with the kind of anti-hero that Iron Man is, because he's kind of a jerk.
Yeah.
He's the same kind of character where he's a jerk,
exactly,
like in this way. And he's got the ability to play that very, very naturally.
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. You would have believed his.
That would have been better too. That was the second choice. James Franco was at least number 3, if not farther down the line.
Robert Downey Jr. as the character of this movie, you would have believed the sincerity of his yearning to be good more so.
The movie would have blown my mind.
You would have.
And I hate to say that, but there were good things about it. Let's move away from what I didn't like about the movie and move on to some other people that were in it.
Well, one thing I liked about the movie that's not a person, but the movie itself, the scenery of the movie was beautiful. I love that.
Yeah, a lot of the design was great. I
loved
really enjoyed all the little nods to the original Wizard of Oz. Like
yes.
Getting in black and white and going to color when they go to Oz.
And it was like small too, and I was watching in theater, and I was watching theaters, and I was like, did they forget to like widen the thing? Like, what is going on here? And I was like, oh, it's gonna go black and white, and then okay, and I was like, is it gonna get bigger? And it okay, so that was nice.
I thought that was phenomenal. I love the way that they did that. That was a fantastic choice. Hats off to Sam Raimi for doing that. The nods to the original film really, for true fans of Oz, they will enjoy that. And they, much like I was looking for, what was intellectual property in the movie and what was intellectual property in the book. People like I talked to my 2 little sisters. My youngest sister was like obsessed with Dorothy, obsessed with her. She loved it.
Okay. Well,
she loved it, but she's 19. She loves everything. The bright, shiny colors. She was happy.
Okay, so dangle some keys in front of her, and she'll just be like, "Hey."
That's really mean to say because she is a really smart, capable person. It just
you were going there, so I just helped.
She's just in a different.
I know. I got you.
Place. You ask her about the same question in 10 years, she'll probably roll her eyes at me. She's 19. It is what it is. My other sister is 24. Had a very similar reaction that I did.
Okay. Well, I mean, another nod that I like too, and you kind of notice it, but you kind of don't with certain characters, is the characters at the beginning in the black and white. They show up as different fantasy characters in the color part, and I like that. I really did.
Not specifically to it, but there's a moment at the very beginning when he meets that little China doll.
Yeah.
That was particularly touching.
that was one of the funniest parts in the film too. Like when they meet the girl who plays it, that was one of the funniest parts in the film. That was another thing. I didn't expect the film to have like to actually like genuinely make me laugh as much as it did.
Yeah.
I actually did laugh at several parts in this movie, and I did not expect to laugh at a lot of parts that I did. I was like, wow, okay. Do you feel that this film was more for kids or more for an adult crowd?
No, I think it's definitely one of those kind of all-encompassing films. Because the thing is, it's a kind of movie that you can take a kid to, even if they haven't been necessarily introduced to the Oz world yet. And for any adult, The Wizard of Oz is really a strong part of a lot of people's childhood. Yeah. I mean, that movie is pretty big deal. Just all around, both cinematically and just looking back at childhoods and whatnot. That's a really big part of a lot of things, and I think there's a really broad appeal for this kind of a movie.
Franco has some big shoes to fill. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, for all audiences for sure.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think about Mila Kunis' performance?
I hate to say this because I love her. I love her so much. She's one of my favorite people, both on and off screen. When she's acting in a movie, I think she's gorgeous. I think she's fun. I think she's really a lot of fun as an actress. Off screen, any interview I've ever read, anything I've ever found out about her on whatever, People or whatever, what have you, she's awesome. I love her all the time.
Okay.
I was really disappointed, and almost to the point where I think she might have been miscast.
She was phoning it in so hard.
And I hate to say this because I like her so much better, but this shows my honesty. She bored me more than James Franco.
She was phoning it in like ridiculously.
Yes. Also, and I will give my sister credit for this. I said they were all boring. She made it sound a little bit more intelligent. I really felt like all of the characters, with the exception of, again, the CGI characters, right. I really felt like everybody was really one-dimensional. Like, there was no depth of story, there was no depth of motivation. Like, I
didn't think about it like that, but that's true. With the exception of the CGI characters, everybody was one-dimensional. That is so true.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because, James Franco, the Wizard of Oz, whatever, he is, he's a magician, misdirection is one of his things that he does.
Right. And he's a con man, right.
It's a very common thing for magicians to do. And you know what? I felt like this movie was a misdirection. Like,
okay.
No, I'm serious. I wanted it to be more. It was decent, but it wasn't as good as it could be.
I didn't expect anything. I didn't expect much at all this movie. I was like,
things. Look at all the CGI we have in your face. Maybe you won't notice that none of these characters
are developed. None of these people can really act that great. I say Mila Kunis.
I disagree because Michelle Williams, Michelle Williams. That's her name, right?
Yes.
Linda, yeah. Michelle Williams is an Oscar nominee. Rachel Weisz isn't she an Oscar winner?
Okay, well, maybe this film had a curse then, because it had people in it who could decently act, and they did a terrible job.
I will say, no, Rachel Weisz didn't do a terrible job, but again, the presentation of a character being one-dimensional, that's a writing problem.
That's true. That is true. That is very true.
You can only do so much of the character, and I will say, I think Glinda's going to be boring no matter who's playing her, no matter what. Glinda is boring, that's fine, but she still had no depth. There was, sure, her, the father dying, that was a thing, but, like, it never really hit home that was a motivation of anything. I really felt like all the characters were just really one-dimensional. Even Rachel Weisz, who was, I think, doing a great job. I enjoyed her a lot.
Well, maybe that was the writing. But you remember, like, earlier I was saying that I was kind of like, when is Franco coming back for most of the scenes? The scenes with Mila Kunis and Rachel Weisz, how do you pronounce her last name? Is it V or W?
V.
Okay. The scenes with Mila Kunis and Rachel Weisz, those scenes were like, I was like, oh, okay, we get it. Yes, yes, you evil. Okay, move on. Like, can we get back?
Mila Kunis, I was most disappointed with her in this movie, just because I do like her so much, and I was so happy to see her attached to the stone. She bored me a bit.
Oh, I meant to say this is what I wanted to say about Mila Kunis. She has, and I do feel this way. She has what I would call, and let me finish before you say something, so you see where I'm going.
All right.
She has that '70s show syndrome, and what I mean by that is I mean that all the characters, like the main cast of that '70s show, most of them, if not all of them, did a great job in that '70s show because of the type of character they were playing. But any other film, they don't really do that good. Mila Kunis, Ashton Kutcher, Topher Grace, Woman Valderrama.
I would argue that to a point because Ashton Kutcher is a pretty decent actor. I mean, he's done some stuff
He's decent.
Has been all right. And I think Mila Kunis was good in The Black Swan.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
I think I like your assessment that she was phoning it in. I don't know how much of that was her and how much of that was Sam Raimi, who I also like. And I was frustrated to be so disappointed with him because I do really like Sam Raimi. I did like. Did you notice Bruce Campbell? Did you find him?
I didn't even I'm looking at the IMDb thing right now, the cast list, and I looked at something and I was like, I should have known that was Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
I haven't even seen Evil Dead though. That's the bad part.
They are besties. He's in all of his movies.
I haven't even seen Evil Dead. That's the bad part about it.
Oh, there were a couple moments where I thought somebody was going to scream, "I'll swallow your soul." I really thought it was going to happen. You don't understand that because you haven't seen Evil Dead.
I was about to say everybody else will get that reference except me.
I was waiting for that. I really was. It didn't happen, but there were a couple of. I'm not necessarily the greatest at recognizing director, trademarks, but there were a couple of moments, a couple of things with the camera work, with some of the weird close-ups, and a couple other things.
Those close-ups were weird. Oh my God,
this is such a Sam Raimi thing. I didn't realize that I would notice that, but I did.
The close-ups were weird. That was one thing. That was something that was like, it didn't happen often. Happened maybe 4 times in the movie. But when he did that little zoom in, comic book or anime style close-up, I was like, okay, stop.
That sound effect is perfect.
You said you like that?
No, I'm saying that sound effect you made for when that happened was perfect. You just
Right. But that it obviously didn't make the sound effect in the film for those listening.
No, but that's perfect. That's very much like when if and when I ever make you watch Evil Dead, you will understand what I'm talking about. Okay. He does that to Bruce Campbell mostly, quite a bit. No, and again, I feel like I've mostly talked negatively about this movie, and I feel badly because I did enjoy it.
I did. I think
most people will like it. There's a couple. What previews did you get?
What? Say it one more time.
What previews did you get?
Oh, I was running late. Didn't. So I got there just in time to see it go to feature presentation.
Okay, well I will let you know something funny that I saw. I don't know how much publication you've seen for The Lone Ranger. Have you seen what Depp looks like as Tonto?
No.
Okay, you should look that up right now so you can see what I'm talking about.
Johnny Depp as Tonto. Okay.
We saw a preview for The Lone Ranger, which is fine. Makes sense because I think that's Disney as well, so it makes sense. I think that was a poor choice of preview because when you see Rachel Weisz for the first time, the thing she has in her hair, in silhouette, looks the same as the thing that Johnny Depp wears on his head.
It does? I'm looking at it right now. It does?
Yeah, those wings. The first time they show her, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Tonto.
First of all, Johnny Depp is an amazing character actor in the first place because every movie that this dude is in, he looks like a completely different person.
Yeah.
I'm looking at him as Tonto right now, and it's like, really, this is Johnny Depp?
Yeah.
That dude.
But I think, like I said, I did enjoy it. I really did. I think it's worth to see in the theater. I think really, if nothing else, because of the set design and the costumes and the colors, and even though there's too much CGI, I think to experience it on the big screen is great. Because it is worthwhile to see. I'm not mad that I paid to see it. I think it would be worthwhile to see on the big screen, and I probably would be worthwhile to see in 3D, given what I remember about the reveals in Oz. I would tell you,
I would say, because I was actually going to ask you, like, you know, on a scale of, would you rather see it in theaters, wait for it on DVD, watch it on TV or Netflix, or just skip it? And I would say, if you're a big fan of the original Wizard of Oz, which pretty much everybody, like, in their 40s and up definitely is, because they grew up on that.
And my 19-year-old sister dressed up as Dorothy like every Halloween for like 5 years. So
okay, so everybody in their 40s are up, and Camille's
remember what I said about Brad? I meant it.
But yeah, so if you're a big fan of the Wizard of Oz, and you know you like beautiful scenery, and it's somewhat of like it's a family film, I would say, if you don't mind, like if you could make a matinee. I wouldn't say necessarily like a full price on this. I would say if you can make a matinee, if you don't mind shelling out 3D, then it's not going to be a waste of 3D.
Yeah, I think a lot of movies I'm like, this is stupid that it's in 3D. Why is this movie in 3D? Having seen it the regular way, I think seeing this in 3D would have probably enhanced the experience, and I would probably have complained less about the CGI. I think a lot of movies I would say, okay, well. Usually when I have this opinion about a movie, I would say wait to rent it. But this is one that it is so visually stimulating. Even though I feel like CGI was too heavily used, I do think it's worthwhile to see in the theater just because to see all that color up on the big screen, it is really gorgeous.
That's true. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
The actors are gorgeous. You know, the sets are gorgeous. The fake CGI stuff, while there's too much of it, it is gorgeous.
Yeah.
You know, it is really, really fantastically done.
I will say that you do genuinely get immersed in the world of Oz.
Yeah, it is a visual treat. You
really do. Whether you buy into the acting or not, you do believe that these people are in Oz right now.
yeah. I think overall a good job was done. You know, bringing us back to Oz. But I feel like a better job could have been done. And that I hate saying that. Because I did like it, but I do feel like it could have been more than it was. It's
like Judy Garland in the original one, you know, Dorothy. She had like and that was like back then when everybody was kind of hamming it up, like that was just how you acted almost. But she had a certain like.
Je ne sais quoi.
Well, I didn't want to say je ne sais quoi, but she had a certain.
We both did. It's too late. We both did.
But she had a certain quality, like a certain type of like wonder that went behind her acting. Where you know what I mean? Like you what even if you didn't like believe it, as in like she really feels this way. You know, like nobody's like, you know, analyzing Dorothy trying to get, you know, back to Kansas. But there was some type of something that you could relate to.
She felt wonderment, and she brought you along.
Wonderment.
She brought you along with.
That's the word,
like,
wonderment.
I feel wondered here, and she brought you along, and you also felt the same wonder that she felt, and that.
Wonderment.
I think that's what I was missing with.
The wonderment. That's the perfect word. She had the wonderment, and Franco didn't have it. That's what it is.
Right, and she shared with. And you know, he's a little bit more jaded, chip on the shoulder kind of character, so it makes sense that a young girl would experience more wonder at this world. Because, you know, she is the good person that he didn't want to be. Now, did you notice that Annie's last name, in the very beginning, her last name was Gale? That's Dorothy's last name.
It is?
And she had a gingham dress on. It was great.
Did not notice that.
Yeah. Like I told you, I was looking for things the whole time.
You were spotting some stuff. I did not catch that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's one thing that I did like, you know, the little nods to the original, but that's one thing I think that kind of hurt it, was they were like,
kept me going. I'd be so bored, and then something would happen that was from the movie, and I was like, oh!
Not the little nods, but when they were like, oh, we have to make this somehow be an origin story to the Wizard of Oz. Okay, so that means that we have this much time left. We need to do this, and this, and this, and this to get there.
What did you think didn't fit, Joss?
Huh?
What did you think didn't fit?
Oh, okay. Well, it's going to be some spoiler alert stuff.
Okay, if you don't want to know what he's talking about, don't listen, because we're going to say some things that are reveals that you don't know going into the movie.
All right,
so stop listening now.
So like mute the TV or mute the video, and then I'll put a graphic back up to let you know when it's done. Okay, but no, I'm saying that okay. When we had to, see Mila Kunis getting turned into the Wicked Witch, and she turned green, and I'm like, really? Like that's
she had
that's
to.
her.
I mean,
That's her.
well, I disagree. I think that was a necessary part to see. That's what everybody wanted to see. Jeff, everyone I talked to about this movie that hasn't seen it yet, that was the topic they wanted to know.
But I'm
and
saying.
that's why I was so disappointed with Mila Kunis, because that was such a big thing. Which one of them is a Wicked Witch? Who is it? Who is it? Everybody wanted to know. I think that reveal was actually really important.
The way it happened, like, okay, she gets overcome by the, eating the apple or whatever, and now I'm green because I'm supposed to be. Like, I was like, okay.
Yeah, that was weak. That was totally
That's what I'm talking about.
Motivation. That's the one-dimensional character coming out again. The spurned lover thing was so forced. I didn't care. I didn't believe it.
Yeah, no.
I did like, though. Tell me if you like this. I thought this was awesome. When she cried, and it scarred her face.
No, I was like,
that was awesome.
I was like, no. I was like, this just, it was so corny to me.
It was so perfect.
It was so corny.
No, man.
Like,
and that's
God.
like I'm coming from like a supernatural fiction background. I'm coming from I'm somebody who watches True Blood. When they cry blood, I'm like, yeah, that's so cool. So I look at it as like a mirror.
I get it. She was supposed to be so wholesome at that point that, she probably, crying, hurt her. I could get that. Okay.
No, Jeff, do you remember The Wizard of Oz?
I guess I don't.
Oh my God.
Yes I do, but I have no idea what you're about to go to.
How did they kill the witch?
Water.
What are tears made of?
So that was a nod. See, I didn't catch that. I did not catch that.
Food. Water burns them. That's how they die.
How many people watching that movie got that besides you?
Everybody besides you.
Okay. I'll give probably. To be honest, probably. But no.
Okay, I got to say, while we're still talking about the greenness and people who actually want to listen to this and aren't worried about spoilers, the minute she was green, first of all, she was too pretty.
No. See, I was thinking that she looked like. I was thinking that Mila Kunis in the Green Wicked Witch, she looked like a messed up version of Jim Carrey as the Mask.
I did too. I
Okay.
could not think of anything. I thought he was gonna do a little dance with Glinda and
Yeah, like.
I thought she was gonna dance.
Put on a yellow zoot suit and a hat or some shit. I was like, this is so stupid.
All I could think of was Jim Carrey in the Mask.
I kept thinking of it. I really did too. Like, I was like, what? Look at this. I was like, look at this crap.
I'm so glad it wasn't just me. She looked like Jim Carrey in the Mask, and it was so distracting to me. I just couldn't. And you know what I didn't like too, and this is still a spoiler, so I can keep complaining about it.
Go ahead.
I think she did. I will say vocally, I think she did a great job when she was screaming. I was like, yeah, perfect. But then he had somebody else do her laughing.
He did?
Yes, that wasn't her. The laugh, that was not her. That was a classic weird Sam Raimi voice manipulation.
Wow, really? I didn't know that.
That was her laughing. It was her, and then when it was that wasn't her anymore.
Huh? I did not know that.
I don't think it was. I mean, maybe it wasn't off the track. It sure didn't sound like it.
I thought the evilness that she was supposed to portray as the witch was so forced and fake.
Yes.
But that goes back to the one-dimensionalness, and that's just beating a dead horse to death. But it was bad.
I feel so bad because I like her so much, but I really truly think that she was miscast. I think she's better.
She has that 70s show syndrome.
She can. I think I think she's too nice. I think she can do a different kind of mean. That's just, she can't do crazed evil mean. I didn't buy it.
All right, I guess we're off the spoiler thing now. But
Okay.
But yeah, now I will say that you were talking about Ashton Kutcher is decent, she's decent. If you say Topher Grace is not, if you say Topher Grace is a good actor and doesn't have
he is destined to be the boring sidekick.
I was about to say if you say he doesn't have that 70s syndrome, I will cut you.
He's destined to be the goofy sidekick for the rest of his life, which is fine. I enjoy him in that role. It's fine. I hope that they doom James Franco to that role sometime soon, because he was only okay. Like I said, he was only okay. Rachel Weisz killed it for me, in a good way.
No.
Zach Braff killed it for me in a good way. and the little girl who was a little doll from Go Away. They kept me going.
You want to know who stole the show? You want to know who stole the show out of this whole film? Joey King, who was the little girl, and she did the voice of the doll. She stole the show. Period.
Yeah.
Hands down. Point blank. Nobody else could even match this little girl's voice. The acting couldn't match her voice talent.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying. Like the two people that were primarily doing voice acting did the best job in the movie. I think they kept me going.
Period.
They really.
Period.
But again, it was a good movie overall. It did not. Unfortunately, it did not. It lived up to my expectations. It didn't live up to my hopes.
All right. So scale of 1 to 10. 1 being that you wish the people who made this movie should like die a horrible death for making you waste your money.
I want to make more. He's making another Evil Dead, and I want to see it.
No, let me finish. 1, you wish the people making this film would die a horrible death for making you see it for making you waste your money to see it in the first place. Or 10 being that this movie is immediately going to your like top 20 list.
7.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that I was thinking 6.5 or 7.
I almost said 6.5, but then I gave it a 7 because it's Oz, man.
The visuals were perfect. The visuals were perfect. And if you see it in 3D,
like, at times I felt like I was watching a video game. I think they could have created a lot of the same effects without CGI if they had like built some of the things and just filmed for real instead of just CGI creating everything. I think it would have been. I think they did the film a disservice using so much CGI.
If you do shell out the extra money to see it in 3D, it's worth it. But like we said, a film should be able to carry itself without you having to put on any extra bells and whistles. So I do agree.
I heard that noise, my door. So I hope you didn't hear any of that noise. I just had somebody opening a door that was really loud.
No, we're good. Okay, so I guess what we say? I say 6.5. You say 7.
I say 7 just because of the nostalgia of Oz. I think that kicked it up to half point for me.
And I'll say I didn't see it in 2D, but the 2D, the movie itself, 6.5. 3D, I'll give it an extra 0.5. Actually, 3D, I'll give it an extra whole point. Because
so you're up to 7.5? If we keep talking, is it going to keep going up?
No, I'm saying 6.5 with the movie itself, 7.5 for the 3D. 3D was good.
Okay.
And I say see it in theaters on like a matinee if you're gonna see it in 3D. I say don't pay full price. So, all right. So I guess that would bring this to a close because I think we have exhausted everything. Unless you have something you want to talk about.
No. I think I've said most of what I wanted to say. About the movie.
I think we beat Franco to death.
I did. You didn't.
Well, yeah. I was kind of holding him back from firing squad, and you were like, 21 guns.
My notes involve how boring James Franco is. Although I will say, be prepared when you first get introduced to Oz. It is kind of like being introduced to Dr. Seuss on acid. So you're ready for that. Because it is kind of like Dr. Seuss on acid at first. And once you get used to it, you're used to it. But it is an adjustment.
One thing I will say though is when you first watched the movie with the beginning, the black and white or whatever, I will say that just when that part started to get boring to me, because it did start to get boring after a while, was when they changed it. No, I loved it.
Okay, go on. You make your point.
But just when it started to get boring, it like changed to something else, and I was like, "Good job! You knew when it was happening. Good job." Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess Friday we are going to see The Incredible Burt Wonderstone.
I guess so.
Don't sound so excited.
I don't have hopes for this one nor expectations, so we'll see if anything gets exceeded.
I have. It's like on paper it should be brilliant. It's Jim Carrey and Steve Carell in a movie making fun of the likes of David Blaine and Chris Angel.
Which I enjoy. Conceptually, I'm on board,
but I don't have hopes.
Caliber now are so stupid. Like, clever humor is becoming a thing of the past.
Yeah.
And it's slowly but surely being replaced by potty humor and sex humor, where you could be making the same type of movie with much more clever jokes. I mean, we the viewing audience are not that stupid.
That is true. But that's the thing, though. We as an audience aren't that stupid, but we're allowing Hollywood to basically tell us that we are.
Yeah. We keep buying the tickets.
Exactly. We're allowing Hollywood to tell us that we are, and then we, in a sense, are agreeing that we are, and therefore we become just as stupid as Hollywood wanted us to be.
Incredible Burt Wonderstone, everybody.
The Incredible Burt Wonderstone, March 15th.
Coming up next.
All right. Yes, we paid.
Pay for it.
I guess we're signing out. So.
Or another.
Yes, we paid to see it.